There are some manga that you read that just leave you in a shocked state by how good it is. You don't run into these series very often, but when you do, they are a welcome surprise, and recently I have discovered one such manga series. The name of this series is The Girl from the Other Side. This manga is just incredible. I don't even know where to begin when talking about this series because of how good this manga was, but I will do my best. This series is somehow both wholesome and dark at the same time. The way this series is able to jump between an extremely wholesome story about a father and his daughter to a mystery about a curse and the death of so many is insane. This series is extremely emotional because of its ability to jump between these two different states. In the first volume, you get to meet the two main characters and you just really start to fall in love with them and their dynamic. But by the end of that volume, everything you had seen throughout the story thus far is thrown on its head and only gets more emotional as the series goes on. The way this series writes things makes the emotions of some scenes hit really hard. This is the only manga I have ever read that has genuinely made me cry. I have read quite a few series that have made me tear up, but never full-blown cry, and that was only possible because of how well written everything is. You would normally think that switching between wholesome and dark wouldn't work, but this series was able to make it work through a number of factors that I will talk about over the course of this video. There are so many great themes this series tackles. Some are darker and some aren't, and I want to talk about these themes in this video. The first one being loneliness. This series tackles loneliness in such a real and incredible way. We get to see how much human connection really helps people and how losing that connection can bring people to their lowest points. Being lonely isn't fun, especially after you went through so much with the people you care for only to lose them. It breaks you down and makes it incredibly hard to keep going. But the main characters in this manga are strong and can keep pushing through the loneliness to try and find that connection that they are desperately seeking throughout the story. One of the biggest things that makes people human is their ability to love other people. This story explores a character who is supposed to lose his ability to feel emotion and is constantly referred to as a monster throughout the story, learning to love again. And they handle this so well. All of the scenes where we see where he feels something in his heart, or how he goes out of his way to protect Shiva and he constantly asks himself why he did that, or why it's so hard for him to tell her things that might hurt her. He doesn't understand what it is that he is feeling, and seeing him slowly learn that this is love and that he cares for this little girl as if she was his own daughter just makes for such a powerful character arc. The way this series explores what it means to be human is incredible. It has nothing to do with someone's appearance or personality, it has to deal with their ability to feel certain emotions. Humans are very emotional creatures, and having the ability to feel is what makes people people. The main character struggles throughout the whole story with this since he has been cursed and has lost his ability to feel anything. But after meeting with Shiva, a wonderful little girl, he slowly starts to get his humanity back and becomes a loving father to a sweet little girl. The main characters have a really wonderful relationship that I love that this series explores. Sometimes you need someone and you just don't know it, and that is how it was for the two main characters in this series. Found family is one of the best themes this series explores. Having a family that loves and cares for you is awesome even if they aren't your real family. Teacher is a wonderful father and does his absolute best to protect and care for Shiva. He does sometimes lie to her, but that is not to hurt her feelings. He genuinely loves this little girl and she has helped him cope with the situation he found himself in the series. Both of these characters were perfect for each other. They both needed each other to grow and change as people, and we see this throughout the series. Plus, their relationship is just super wholesome and I love it. Love can overcome so much in your life even if it is only familial love. Having someone you care for be there for you can be a powerful thing, and losing them can be one of the most devastating things. We see how some of the characters in this manga have to overcome a lot of these problems by using their love for other people. Even when they think that that person is lost, they still have to do their best to overcome a lot of trials. There isn't a lot that love can't overcome, and this series tries to prove that. This manga is extremely beautiful, and I don't just mean the artwork, although that is great too. Actually, let's start there. The artwork is so good, it gives off this vibe that there is more behind the scenes of this series than what we initially see. It is dark and gritty, but still somehow makes the really wholesome moments shine through the artwork, which I absolutely love. Okay, now that I've talked about the artwork, let's move on to some of the other stuff as well. This series is also beautiful for its story and world building. The story is one of love and family and overcoming loneliness. This series has a powerful message that a lot of people can take away from, leading to a wonderful story. The world building in this series also stands out a lot. At the beginning of the series, they drip feed us information to make us start questioning things, but not revealing too much. However, as the series goes on, we slowly start to learn more about the world. We learn there are two gods, we learn that the humans worship one of these gods, and we learn that the religion essentially runs the world. We slowly start to learn the history of the world and start piecing together the truth of the story. The way they are able to establish a world and can continue to expand upon it and make it more interesting in just 53 chapters is incredible. That is no easy feat even for a longer series, but they managed to pull this off in a great way. With the amazing world building, they were also able to pull off a really good mystery throughout the series. We don't figure out the truth of the curse until the very end of the series. We don't learn who really has the power over the human population until the end of the series. And we also don't know one more thing that I won't spoil for those who haven't read this series yet. The mysteries in this manga are done so well, and the fact that we don't solve most of them until the very end of the series makes them even better for me. There aren't that many characters in this manga, but the ones that we do see are really well written. Firstly, let's start off with Teacher, one of the main characters. He is great. He is a wonderful father figure, a strong and caring man, and he truly loves Shiva with all his heart, even if he doesn't know it. He is also very smart. He uses his knowledge to navigate the world and to help Shiva learn how to survive in a harsh environment. Shiva is also a great character. She's an adorable little girl who loves to play around and have fun. She is kind and caring and absolutely hates liars. She also has a big mystery surrounding her that makes for a really interesting story arc. Shiva is also very mentally strong. Even towards the end of the story, when things are wrapping up, she still manages to keep her head up and tries her best to achieve her goals. Auntie is Shiva's aunt and is also a wonderful character. At first, I didn't really like her. She hated Teacher and never believed Shiva when she tried to tell her that Teacher was a good person. However, the role she played in the story helped to develop not only Shiva but also Teacher, and towards the end of when her character was around, they really did seem like one wholesome family. There are other characters that play some important roles, but they don't matter as much. The Human King is pretty interesting and he helps Shiva out towards the end of the series. The head priest is an asshole throughout the entire series and only becomes an even bigger one as the series progresses. But overall, I would say the characters are great. The Girl from the Other Side is an amazing manga series that is somehow both wholesome and dark at the same time. There aren't too many manga out there that can make me genuinely feel how I felt while reading this series. The story just hit really hard and the characters were phenomenally written. This series is great and I highly recommend it.